welcome back to Salty Sunshine. I'm so excited. Today I have a special guest, Asha Elias. Hi, Asha.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. I've been counting down the days. I love reading. Asha is a two-time book writer, author. She's also a reluctant socialite, you call yourself, and
Very.
a writer you wrote for Cosmopolitan and for now recently Miami New Times.
hmm
And yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself and how I know I went to your first book release of Pink Glass
Oh,
Houses.
you did?
I,
Oh, thank you.
I really liked it because I'm part of I have my book club online, and then I have a group that meets in Coral Gables once a month. It's not a particular book, but we just talk about books. And one of the
hmm
girls invited me to your book release, your first one. So I went there and I saw you, and I heard about your story a little bit, but you can tell me how you got into
Oh,
writing.
that's so great that you were there. So I'm freelancing a lot now, but um, ever since I was a little girl, I was passionate about writing and I knew I wanted to be a writer. And I had these dreams of, writing the great American novel and writing literature. And then somewhere along the way I kind of lost the faith in myself, I think. And I think, like, as children we have these big dreams and we think that anything is possible, and then the older we get, like, the more narrow, like, our beliefs in ourselves become. And even though it was still my passion, I think I took a big step back from it. I majored in print journalism because I knew I wanted to do something with writing. And I really did fall in love with writing news articles, more writing feature stories. I ended up working at Ocean Drive magazine for 8 years, but on the business and marketing side, because that's where a job was available. And because it's a career where you can support yourself, where a lot of careers that isn't necessarily the case when starting out. And then during quarantine, I had two young children at the time. They're a little bit bigger now, and was spending a lot of time at home. And I think quarantine gave a lot of us the opportunity to step back and ask ourselves what was missing. Like, all of a sudden we're given this time, and what should we be doing with it? And then looking forward to, like, when we're quote unquote normal again, like, what is it that we wish we were doing that we haven't been? And for me, it was writing a novel. So that's when I began. And this time, kind of without, like, the fear of failure or rejection. I just really wanted to write this book
At
that
this
became
time,
Pink
were you
Houses.
still at Ocean Drive during quarantine?
No, I had left. I left when I had my daughter. So she was already like 6 or 7 by the time um, I started writing this book. So I took off to be a mom.
Okay, that's amazing, and I love it. It's almost like a gift quarantine gave you to kind of self-reflect and look inward, right? To do the things you want to
Absolutely.
do. I
Yeah,
love that. It's
definitely.
kind of like I had my daughter really young at 19, and I feel I was go 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 bustle, like she was in dance, I'm working, all this stuff. And
hmm
then once she left to college and she moved, I feel like I have me time now. So now I get to do my podcast and read more books and all of that. So it's fun that you got that earlier until you're not wait till your kids like go off to college.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, as mothers, to some extent, we all kind of put things aside to raise our kids, which is a beautiful thing and it's a necessary thing. And sometimes we give up too much. And but I have noticed that there's kind of like this reverberation back where, we get these opportunities to rediscover ourselves
Hmm.
and reposition ourselves. And I think that's really exciting. I'm seeing so many of my girlfriends going through that right now too. And I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, there's no time like the present, and it's never too late, and creativity can go in so many different fashions and forms. And I love that you have to take the time because the time goes by so fast, and you almost don't recognize how fast it's going. And it's great to stop and like do the things that make you happy and see if they make you happy and try it out. And I
Yep,
love that. So,
absolutely.
where did you get? I know that you mentioned also that you took a virtual workshop and that really helped you.
Yeah. hmm So I took a few. I started right like in March or April of 2020. So, like, right in the beginning of quarantine, with a Miami Book Fair workshop that was only 1 week long, but it was a great way to kind of dip my toe back in. And I just feel how much I loved writing. I loved talking about writing. I loved reading what other people were working on. And so I started doing some research to find longer workshops. And at the time, it's not around anymore, but Catapult, which is a literary magazine, was doing virtual workshops. And I found one. Actually, I ended up taking 3 different writers, all wonderful. But Jennifer Close was giving, who is an incredible and established novelist, was giving a novel generator workshop. So it wasn't just a few weeks, it was 3 months, a small cohort, and we all were able to finish and revise novels together over the course of the workshop. And that was incredible. And that, I think, was the huge game changer in terms of me understanding how to take Pink Glass Houses from a messy first draft to something that was publishable.
Right, because it's a lot of work. I mean, we sit back and enjoy it and go into this world, but I mean, writing it, even just writing a blog, it's, it's not
Yeah.
that easy.
There's a lot of revision that comes with it. And also, you have so many blind spots when you're writing because you're trying to write from other perspectives, but really like you can only speak from, what you know and what you can imagine. And so having a diverse group of workshop partners opens your mind up to possibilities and characters and scenarios that you would never have thought of.
Yeah,
And oftentimes that really improves the work.
I would assume you get like writer's fatigue too, almost like you want to move on from that, maybe that scene, or is it too
Mhm.
much? Is it too little?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Or sometimes you, like you said, with the fatigue, you've seen something so many times that you lose all perspective of it.
right.
And
Yeah.
you need someone to say, hey, you need to take a look at this again. Something isn't working.
So how much of your real life? So I think you've been in Miami Beach since what, 2001, something like that?
Yes.
So where were you before?
I grew up in Boca Raton, so
Oh,
not
okay.
too far away. And I moved to Miami in 2001. I actually moved to Coral Gables to attend the University of Miami.
Yeah.
And then I graduated and moved to the beach, and I've been here ever
So you're
since.
from Florida.
I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
I was
Boca
born in
to
Ohio.
me.
I moved around a lot, but I am a Florida girl.
Boca to me is like Miami. It's like, okay, it's right there.
It's right there. It's close enough.
Like the suburb.
Different world, but close enough.
Yes. So I was born and raised in Miami. Um,
One
so
of the
yeah.
few.
Huh?
One of the
I
few.
know. Everyone's like, really? I'm like, yes. Yeah, I was born and raised in Miami. My parents are Cuban. Are your parents Cuban?
No, my mom was Indian and my dad
Oh.
is Swedish from
Oh,
Nebraska.
oh
So
my God.
totally, I'm the only one in Miami that's Indian and
But you
Swedish.
look Latina. Has anyone told you that?
Everyone. And I think that's one of the reasons I was really happy when I moved to Miami because everywhere else I had lived, I didn't look like anyone else. And that
Oh,
is a
nice.
weird feeling. But in Miami, you can blend in as so many different races. And I think that's really cool. Like I found a lot of comfort in that.
I love that. I see now that you say you're Indian. I can see that. I love that. And I don't look Latin. Everyone thinks I'm
Mhm.
American. So it's so funny. Like, you never know.
Right. Especially in Miami, which is awesome. I love that.
I know. I do also remember in your book signing for Pink Glass Houses that you said you had already written the Namaste Club, your second book,
I
or you had already
had,
started.
yes. Yes. It was already because I wrote Pink Glass Houses. I started writing it in 2020 and I sold it in 2022. And it took 2 full years
Yeah.
to come out, which
Mm.
is really standard for a debut novel. When the publisher purchases the book, they put it in a queue and then you wait your turn. So meanwhile, I was finishing the Namaste Club, and that actually went on sub, which is what we say when your publisher takes a look at it. And so that was purchased and already in the works last summer. I think we already had pretty much finished the final draft, but this is coming out on Tuesday. I hope you come to this book
Yay.
launch too.
Yes, I'm gonna head to your book launch at Books and Books in the Gables July
Oh,
1st, which is
good.
Tuesday, and then your book will be sold there, correct?
Yes, I'm so glad
Yeah.
you're coming.
Yes.
And this is the brand new Pink Glass Houses
Oh,
paperback.
nice. Okay.
We have a new cover.
Yeah,
So
this is
these two
hardback.
covers are kind of
Beautiful.
sisters.
Your colors kind of match my salty sunshine kind of colors because it's
Yeah, they
Miami.
do. They're really vibrant.
Yeah,
Kind of like they give like Miami sunset.
for sure. Yes, all the colors. So I did salty sunshine because I'm like, my daughter's the salt, I'm the sunshine. She's in Austin, so she gets, whatever. She's from Miami, but she moved to
Yeah.
Austin. Um, so how much of your second book, The Namaste Club, has to do with the first book, Pink Glass Houses, or are they completely different stories?
They're completely different stories. I think that you like readers will be able to tell they're from the same author. There's some commonalities. It is also multi point of view. There are also a lot of messy female characters, and the voice is kind of similar. It's satire, so there's bold personalities and wild scenarios, but they are completely different characters and different
Okay.
themes.
Okay, great. So how much of it is based off of, in other words, your real life, some things you see? Do you get inspiration off of, like, do you watch reality TV? Do you watch series? Where do you get your ideas from?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say that Pink Glass House is very much, I was inspired by reality TV, and I wanted all the POVs to feel like those confessionals. So I wanted Charlotte to be sitting down like, oh, let me tell you what happened with
Oh
Melody.
yeah, I totally got that. Mm-hmm.
And I had fun with that as kind of a device. With the Namaste Club, I think it's more like a traditional type of POV, but still very kind of voyeuristic, and still very candid. The Namaste Club, I'm always inspired by sense of place, right? So Pink Glass Houses was very Miami. And so I wanted to broaden that. And the Namaste Club is very Florida,
Mm-hmm.
kind of how we were saying before. And Florida is always kind of the butt of the joke for the whole country. It's like whatever we're doing here is, oh, look at Florida. And, there's the infamous Florida man bites head off of alligator, Florida man
Yes.
breaks into grocery store and steals $3,000 of chewing gum. Like it's always some bizarre thing. And
Yep.
it always starts with Florida man. So I wanted to start the very first line of the Namaste Club with Florida man. So it does. It starts out with an article, and it starts out the very first thing, breaking news, Florida man.
Okay.
And I thought that if everyone else is making fun of Florida, like let me do it from the perspective of someone who actually lives here, who loves living here, who appreciates all of the nuances, good and bad, that are going on in the state. So that was like that was like the real thing that I wanted to touch on.
It is funny because we are Florida, right? Florida, and we're the butt of the joke. So it is interesting. Post COVID, everyone wants to move here, and it's like, why? Who would have thought? I was born and raised here, so who would have thought everyone wants to move here when everyone makes fun of us? And it's almost like, no, don't move here because it's like we're too overcrowded. But yeah,
Exactly. We're good.
yeah, we're good. You used to make fun of us. Go away. No kidding. So yeah, North Florida is your yoga retreat in the Namaste Club. It's North Florida, right?
It's the Treasure Coast, so it's kind of central East Coast.
Central. Yeah.
Central East.
Okay, so that's amazing. And so I can't wait to read it. That comes out July 1st. So I have some questions for you. You're a writer for the New Times. You write a lot about dating, right?
Yes.
Do you have any dating thoughts or tips or anything interesting from your work writing about that?
So this is an opportunity that kind of fell in my lap. That I was so grateful for because I get to use my journalism background, but I was contributing to Cosmo, and I saw that New Times was looking for some new freelancers, and I reached out and just thinking that like they would throw me something every now and then, and they said, "Hey, would you want to write this column?" Which is like the dream for any writer, and so I said, "Absolutely." And I get to talk about all my favorite things, which is like, weird things that happen in Miami. It's
Yeah.
perfect. I've learned that, and I really believe that the problems we have here exist everywhere. They just look a little bit different. Like when
Mhm.
people say like, oh, dating in Miami is terrible. Dating everywhere is terrible. It's really stressful right now for a lot of different reasons. People are very online. People are disconnected. Women don't trust men. Men don't trust women. There are a lot of underlying social issues that are happening around the country and around the world, making it
Yeah.
difficult for people. And those issues exist here too. There's just like a little bit, more hair gel and blow dry and crop tops and tans.
I would go as far as to say that the dating is a tiny bit better because of all the
Mhm.
transient people moving here. The selection
Right.
has grown. At least for me, I was in an 11-year relationship and that ended 4 or 5 years ago. And I have gone on more dates than I would ever have because I hate dating and I don't like anyone. And I'm just like one of those girls. And so because of all the people that moved down here, I find myself on quite a few dates because there's more
But that's an
selection.
awesome success story. And I think that's what we should be talking about. And Lisa, maybe I'll interview you for a column because I think these are the stories that we should be telling. Like, not everything has to be so negative. Like, yes, there are these like terrible people who are out there ghosting after a great date. There are people who have bad intentions. But I agree. I think that there are great eligible singles here as well.
Yes, and it's a blessing. I hate that so many people are moving here for the cost wise and the traffic, but I do think the dating pool has elevated. And every time I
Mhm.
meet someone, I'm like, "Where are you from?" And they're like, "I just moved here 2 years ago. I just moved here a month ago. I just moved." So they're all from somewhere else. And I'm like, "This is great for me because
Yeah,
you
it's
know."
not the same pool that you've been swimming in.
Exactly. And also I've seen a lot of new like speed dating going around. There was one in the Grove the other day and I wanted to peek in from the outside and see the selection. I didn't end up going. Um but yeah, there's a lot of speed dating which I think is a
There's a
great.
lot of IRL meetups now.
That's what we need. We
I
need
think
in
people are
person.
fatigued from swiping,
Hmm.
and I think that there's an ineffable thing that happens when you see someone you're attracted to, and it happens in person. It doesn't really
Yeah,
happen on a screen.
for sure. We need the in-person thing for sure. I'm very excited about it. I think speed dating is the way to go because you get a
Mhm.
little bit time with everybody and there's no investment. Like you're not tied to that person. You don't have to give them your number. You don't, you just see what's
Right.
out there, no pressure. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I love that the technology is kind of moving backwards in that situation.
I know. I love that too. So great. I love that. Check out your so Miami New Times, is there the name of the column? What is it?
It's called Vice City Pillow Talk.
Oh great. Okay. Vice City Pillow Talk. So I follow you online, so I see when you post your articles and like your questions. So that's really fun. What's your handle? Asha
Oh, thank
Elias?
you for asking. It's at asha.sue.elias.
Elias. I've been calling you Asha Elias.
It's okay. Either works. I it's
Elias. Okay. Pardon me. Um, okay. So let me see. So going back, you do watch, what about, who's Asha? Are you a content consumer? Are you strictly books? So I
Ooh.
love everything content. I love podcasts, movies, series, reality, books. So I just got
Mhm.
into reading books maybe 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And I had lost, with the motherhood and single parenting, and I was with
It's hard.
someone.
You need time for it.
Yeah. So I got back into it and I'm like obsessed with it. So I love reading, but I also love the shows. What are you into right now?
I love reading when I have alone time, which I almost never have. So I have to find other ways to consume media. I'm very into movies, great scripted shows. I love like so my daughter who's 12 and our show together to watch is Love is Blind.
Oh, I love
We
that.
get so into it, but now I saw that there's a new US Love Island, and she's at Sleepaway. I can't wait for her to come back because I know that she'll love it. So I think
That's,
that's going to be our next show together.
have you ever seen Love Island?
I've seen the UK one.
I feel like that's heavy for a 12-year-old. I don't know. It's a lot of
Oh, okay.
kissing.
Tell me if I
It's a
need
lot of
to.
kissing.
Is it a lot? Is it like graphic?
It's it's pretty. So they dress up in lingerie, they come out and they kiss it. Everyone's kissing each other. So it might be a little much.
Huh.
I don't know.
I might
Maybe
need to
watch,
do. I might need to do my due diligence
yeah.
on it before.
Maybe watch the first episode and see if it's too much. I think it might be too much. Maybe if she was 14, it wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
All right, I need to check it out. I need to check it out and see.
Love is Blind is my favorite show, by the way.
It's so fun. The last season was a little like
I
not
think,
our favorite, but
yeah, I think the experiment works. There's a
yeah.
lot of success stories. I love
Hmm.
it.
And it's just good TV.
It's good TV. What is the last book or the current book you're reading or your last favorite book that you really liked?
Okay, so I have to plug my very good friend Katie's book because we were just talking about Love Island. She wrote an incredible book that is going wild in the UK right now called People Pleaser.
Okay.
And it's her fictional take on Love Island. It's a
Oh,
murder mystery, and it
okay.
is awesome. You have to order it from the UK, but it's
Oh,
definitely worth it. I got my copies,
love
and
that.
but it is so funny and so clever. And it just came out a couple weeks ago, so I'm so super proud of her, and everyone should read it, especially if you love those reality TV shows. It's a must read.
Awesome. I'm always looking for good books. I mean, there's so many books out, I feel, and it's really hard. There's nothing worse than starting to read something you're like, I don't want to finish this.
I know. And I
Um,
never used to give up on books, and now I do. Now I'm like,
I
I
do.
don't have enough time to be reading, so
Agreed. I totally agree. I've done this new thing on Goodreads that I follow the author. Like I like Frida McFadden. So I'll
hmm.
follow her and she'll recommend a book she just read. So I'm like, that is so genius because
Yep.
I would have never found that book because it's not
Yeah.
on the, Hello Sunshine and all that. It's not like
Right.
the top books and I love them. I know if she likes it, I'll like it.
Hmm.
That's a good tip. Follow your
Yeah.
authors on Goodreads.
Yeah. Author recommendations are great.
Yeah. So the last book I read that I really love is The Wedding People.
Oh, I have it on my TBR forever. I need to because like so many people said that was their favorite book of last year.
I think it was, I know a book is good when I read it in a few days and I can't wait to get back to it.
Oh, people loved it.
I
Okay, so this
loved
is
it.
my sign to pick it up next.
It wasn't predictable. It was super relatable. It was great. It
Mhm.
was great. I loved it.
Okay, good.
Um,
I'm gonna grab it.
and the other one was Bye Baby.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Carola Lovering or Carol Lovering.
How was it?
It's about a friendship, a childhood friendship that kind of grows apart and it's like kind of sad, but it's really good. It was
Hmm.
another one that was like quick read.
I
So those
love
are
that
two of the books that come to
recommendation.
mind.
I'm also right now I'm finishing All the Other Mothers Hate Me.
I think that's in my queue.
I'm sure it is. It's done really well. It's about a mother who's a former American pop star living in the UK in this very insular kind of UK private school system
Okay.
where nobody really interacts with her or is warm with her, and a child goes missing, and she's kind of in the middle of it all.
Wow.
It's good.
Okay. Two things on my list. um, are you into nonfiction?
I wish I was. I feel terrible. I feel terrible that I'm not. I can do like a memoir,
Okay.
but a lot of like, and I wish I was better. I love reading self-help articles. I love reading about nonfiction books without having to read them. But when I sit down with a book, I want it to be escapist.
Yeah, for sure. When I say nonfiction, I mean mostly memoirs because that's kind of where my mind goes. I love a memoir. I love people's stories. And the last one I read that I thought was amazing was Lisa Marie Presley's book, From Here to the Great
Ooh,
Unknown.
I bet that's fascinating.
When I tell you, because when she was writing it, she was voice recording her notes and she was going through a lot and then she passed away unexpectedly. So during that process, she was going through so much from her son's death that she asked her daughter Riley to help her finish the book. So the book is her mother's point of view and Riley's point of view, which makes
Oh,
it so good. I
so
loved it.
beautiful.
I loved it. I loved it. Um, so you're Miamian. What is a good favorite restaurant, bar? Where do you like to hang out? Like, what's your
Oh, okay. Well, my favorite restaurant is a special occasion restaurant. So I don't go very often, but birthdays, things like that. I love Surf Club at the Four Seasons.
okay?
It is delicious. It's a beautiful restaurant. It's simple food, just done very, very well. And Thomas Keller is the chef.
Love that.
But mostly I like really kind of small, off the beaten path restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's one, my favorite omakase restaurant is called Ayoko,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little hidden gem kind of on the edge of Edgewater and Wynwood.
Okay.
And that is more, even though it's omakase, it's more, it is pretty reasonable that you can go back, more than
Yeah.
once a year.
I know. I love asking people where they like to hang out because there's so many options. And I feel like that's another part of dating that's so difficult. Back in the day,
Mhm.
you had five bars. And if you wanted to
You
go
just
out,
go there and
you
meet
go to
someone.
one of the five bars and you're going to meet someone because the single
Right.
people are there. And now it's like 5,000 bars.
Hmm.
So it's hard to meet someone. I love to hang out at the new Lowe's Hotel in the Gables.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Love it. That bar, the Americana bar, it's my favorite. It's
What's
just,
that? I went to that restaurant for a dinner. I live on the beach, so I don't make it out
yeah.
there that often. But what is the restaurant, the big restaurant there?
There's
It
there's Mika. There's
was Mika, I think I went to, and it was so good.
Fogo de Chao, Mika, and there's a Ceviche 105. Yeah. It's just a beautiful area.
It's a beautiful area. That's yeah, I went to Mika for a birthday dinner and I was really impressed.
Yeah, I love that area. It's so good. Are you interested? So, are you already working on your next book, your third book, or taking a break?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm deep in it. I'm deep in like my 10th revision. And this is the one, all of them have had significant amounts of revision with feedback and many rounds of workshops and talks with my agent. My agent's very editorial. This one is the one I've done the most surgery to. It is my Frankenstein novel. It has been ripped apart and put back together. And I'm really excited about it because I think that all of these painful, long, tedious revisions have just, I really do feel like they've made it a better book. So we'll
Can
have
you
to
tell us anything
see.
about it or no?
Yeah, absolutely. It is about a daughter estranged from her mother, who finds the daughter's living in Miami, the mother's living in the South Pacific. She finds out her mother is passed. So she goes across the world to discover who she is and pay respects and assist with the funeral. And while she's there, the only place available, it's the South Pacific, the only hotel available on the island is an all-inclusive honeymoon resort. And she's going there to mourn her mother, and everyone else there is like coupled up in their Hawaiian shirts, like celebrating their weddings. So,
Love that.
and while she's there, she discovers a lot about her family and her lineage.
I love that. That's not. It's kind of like giving wedding people vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? Okay, now I really need to read
Well,
it.
the wedding people, the girl goes through a hard time in her personal life, and she goes off to this hotel she's always wanted to go to, and the hotel is all booked for a wedding, and she's the only one that's not part of the wedding.
Oh, okay.
And
So fun.
her life changes when she gets there. For whatever plan she had before changes because of that, and it's so
All
good.
right. I'm picking it's literally in my bookshelf. I'm picking it out today.
Do you read physical books or do you like a Kindle?
Physical.
I'm all Kindle. I love Kindle. I read physical, but if I don't have the physical, like I bought this because I went there, and like I'll read yours in the physical
Thank
because I'll
you.
buy it. But usually, if I'm not going to buy the book because of whatever reason, it's on my Kindle. I love the Kindle. It's just easy for me because I can lay down and put it to the side.
I don't know. I love to keep them like trophies. I have them all in my
I
bookshelf.
know. They're so beautiful, right? They're just like so
Yeah,
nice.
they are so
I
beautiful.
know, I
I,
know.
I
I
am
love
I
it.
am emotionally attached to my books.
Yeah.
That being said, if I'm traveling and I don't have a book, because I used to travel with so many books and it was just silly because I would never get through them and they're so heavy. So if I'm traveling without books, I download them and read them on my phone. And I hate it, but like do
At
it.
least it's there. Yeah. At least you have something in, dire need when you're waiting or something. You're like, I need something to
Exactly.
do.
Exactly. What
It's
am I going to do?
it's so much better than scrolling, like reading your book.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um, okay. I saw your clip. You were on the Swan Dive podcast, and you
Yeah.
said that you can't help but be a ridiculous optimist. And
Yes.
I love that because I feel like I'm pretty high, you know, high gentle spirit. Like I'm just like a good time. And is that what you mean by that? You just always can't help but be happy or
Yeah, or I try to, or I think that uh, I feel like things are gonna work out. Like in bad times, I feel like my immediate feeling is always like I'll get through this and things will be better, and that kind of helps you sail through the bad times. But when you kind of carry that with you all the time, I do think that it attracts good.
but I think that's innate. I don't know if you can like pick that up as a trait. I feel like it's just like a natural trait people have.
Hmm.
Do you think that's true or
I don't know. I think that like I've talked to like some therapists about this. I think that like there is something to like our neuroplasticity where you can change the way your brain thinks.
Mhm.
Um And there are definitely some times when like I don't want to be positive and I want to like sit and be sad and I want to, feel like a victim or like worst case scenario. And I really have to like tell myself like, no, this isn't like, this is right now it's a choice.
Well, I think there's a time and place for everything. If there's
Yeah.
something that's sad that's happening, you should be
Sometimes you
sad.
just have to go through. Yeah. Sometimes you have to go through it.
For
But
sure.
I think even going through it with the feeling that like, this is going to get better and all the good things that I'm looking for are going to come
Yeah,
somehow.
it's like an undertone. Like your undertone is positive,
Hmm.
but obviously you're human and you're going to go through whatever it is that's happening at the moment. Um,
Definitely.
where is your favorite place to read and to write? Is it your
Mm.
home? Is it coffee shops? Is it balcony?
So reading anywhere. I love to read at coffee shops. If I have like an afternoon alone or reading at lunch, love reading on planes and in hotel rooms. But writing, my favorite place to write is in bed,
Nice.
which I know a lot of writers like to do that because you're very comfortable. Something about like being in that space allows your brain to it helps you be more creative because you're relaxed and your brain is kind of wandering like before you go to sleep. The negative that I've heard about it from some people who like to do the same thing is that it's harder to fall asleep because you associate your bed with work, so that there's a little bit of a
I
little bit
love
of
the bed. I'm not going to lie.
yeah.
Like the bed is where it's at. I can eat
It's
there. I can watch TV there. I can
I just
read
want to
there. I
live
can
there.
write there. It's just the best. It's like
Are you writing as well?
I write like little blogs.
That's
I
awesome.
write like I just wrote a blog about like my connection to animals because I'm a huge animal lover,
Mm-hmm.
and I just like saved a cat that I fell in love with down the block. Like he's like a little
Aw.
stray cat, and he's always hanging around this house, and he waits for us every morning when I walk the dog. And I'm like, oh my, there's something about him that just kind of catches your like. There's just something about certain animals if you're an animal lover that you're
Yeah.
like they're all
You
special,
feel a
but
connection too.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
got him neutered. I trapped him. I got him neutered. He spent the weekend at my house. I got him vaccinated, vetted, and I let him back out. So I write about little things or
That's
my,
really sweet. That's really beautiful
yeah. I
trait
wrote,
you have.
like, my friend told me she got ghosted. This, the funniest ghosting story I've ever heard. And I wrote about that.
Aw.
So just write anything. I'm not like a long, I feel like maybe I would have to practice to like, I'm not a writer. I'm not like, I didn't go to school for it or anything. I just like it. So
That's
I'll just
great.
it's like more like short story stuff.
That's what it should be. You should write because you're loving, like,
So
you enjoy it.
I'll tell you how funny this was, just so you can get a kick out of it. My friend, this girl I work with, she's younger, and she was dating this guy for a good 3 months, and they saw each other maybe twice a week. Like they were dating. It wasn't like simple. And so one day he just kind of fell off the planet, right? And he's stopped contacting her. And the last date they had was super romantic, and they kissed and all this stuff. And he leaves, and she's like, "Oh my god, this is the one!" And he never
Oh,
calls her again. And then she waits 3 days. She calls him or texts him, and he kind of just plays it off like, no big deal, I'm busy. And she's like, pissed. She's like, they
yeah,
stopped
it's
talking.
messed up.
It kind of, the conversation kind of fell flat, and they just never talked again. So fast forward like 8 months, she goes to a wedding in where the country he's from. And lo and behold, he's sitting in the seat next to her on the plane. I'm like, how does that happen? The kicker, they didn't say a word to each other and acknowledge each other's existence the
Oh
entire time.
my God, so awkward.
I'm like, this is off. This is odd for me because I never hear a story that I've never heard before. Like, this is crazy. How does that
It's
even happen?
crazy.
Yes. So she's like, no, he didn't acknowledge me. So I didn't know, but you're
Ugh,
sharing shoulders. I'm like, what? That's crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah. They never talked.
That makes me sad.
No, that makes me wonder what is wrong with both of you. I wouldn't be able to hold it in. I would have been
But
like
are they like
going crazy.
how old are we talking?
25.
Okay. So I just recently heard of something called Gen Z gaze. Have you heard of this?
No.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I've totally experienced this. So, Gen Z gaze is like something that we might experience when we go to like get a cup of coffee or go to a restaurant and we're speaking with someone and the customer service representative doesn't acknowledge us.
Okay.
And then like they don't say anything until it's time to do something like, okay, like let's go to the table. And it like leaves people like, wait, what just happened? And
Yeah.
so there's a name for it. It's called Gen Z gaze. And apparently, like, there are a lot of theories as to why it happens, like screen time, quarantine, and basically just less time socializing and like being socialized in a different way than
Mm-hmm.
millennials and other generations. But I've definitely noticed that. And it's funny because millennials will automatically be like, are they mad at me? Like, did I do something wrong? But it sounds like the same kind of thing where like human interactions are changing and like what is considered normal is also changing. And so ultimately, like, it's going to end up being us that are like old fashioned. Like, what do you mean you didn't acknowledge the person that you dated for 3 months after you sat on a plane? Like, maybe that cultural norm is changing and people just really aren't going to acknowledge each other anymore.
No, that's so crazy. But the good news is everything circles back around, right? Like jelly sandals
I
are
hope
back
so.
in. Jelly
Yeah,
sandals
I saw you posted that.
from the
And
90s.
thank God, because they are great.
That's what I'm saying. So the normalcy of how people interact should come back around too,
I hope so.
because it's wild.
It's
I
wild.
mean, it's like pulling teeth talking to these kids. I'm like, it's so funny. And I think
I was just happy it wasn't just me. I was like, oh, this is a thing. Like, I'm not just awkward.
that's why too. I think there's a phenomenon of younger guys wanting older women, which is
Yeah.
so it's weird. And I think it's because the older women know how to have more fun and like be more vocal.
Yeah, it's possible. So my boyfriend is 7 years older than me. Younger than me. Sorry. He's 7 years younger than me. And we've been together for a while now. And I never really thought about that. But I'm also like, is this weird? I never, ever thought I would end up dating anyone younger. And then, like when a lot of my friends got divorced, like everyone went and had like the younger man fling. And that's what
7 years
honestly
isn't
that's what
younger
we were
though.
doing. But it turned into a relationship.
But 7 years I think is okay. I think that falls into the regular norm. I think 10 years is the cutoff, but either way, like up
Or
and
like a
down.
real age gap.
I don't think 7 years is an age gap in my eyes.
I think in the reverse way, it's not an age gap, and I think that like personality wise, it's not an age gap for my
Yeah.
boyfriend and me, but I still feel like 7 years at my age, like I'm gonna start going through all the hormonal changes in the next decade, and he's still gonna be like this young guy. Like that's what I think about.
Well, he'll lose his hair before you. And no,
I don't know. He's got a pretty good head of hair. I don't think he's
possibly.
going to.
Okay, well, that's on the table, but who knows? Maybe he's one of the good ones, but also just warn him. I feel like I had this conversation with my daughter. I'm like, I feel like all the midlife divorces were because women are changing and the guy thinks the girl hates him, but she doesn't. She's just going through the perimenopause. And if maybe he knew that, he wouldn't take it personally. So
Yeah, I don't
it's
know. That's
hard.
sad, right? I know. Also, we're flooded with like it's great. There's like so much more conversation and research about women's hormones and
Mhm.
perimenopause, which is like something I'd never even heard of 3 years ago. But I think like it's possible we're hearing it so much that like it's creating issues that aren't there too.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad the education is there. And I only say that because I convinced myself, I was like, I need to look into my hormones. My doctor's like, why? Everything's fine. And I did. I like went a deep dive and tested them every single day, and there was absolutely nothing.
Well, it's interesting because perimenopause, there's no test for it. It's really just symptoms. And if you could it
Mhm.
just helps to know, like, why am I so irritable? Or why does my skin itch? Or why can't I handle alcohol like I used to? It's like there's a reason for it just because you're just at the stage of life. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
like overthink it or anything, but there is a reason for it. And it does change. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Anyways, well, it's been wonderful talking to you. I can't wait to get your book. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you so
Um,
much for coming on Tuesday. I'm excited to see you in
No,
person.
of course. I went to the first one was packed. Your first one was packed. Why do you call yourself a reluctant influencer? Did they put you there?
Reluctant socialite. It's funny
Socialite.
that description is something that I wrote when I was like exhausted and trying to like get my first agent when I was writing it's called a query letter. You have to put a bio at the end. And I was like trying to put something fun so it wasn't so serious to like mimic kind of like the lighthearted feel of the book. And so I put it there, reluctant socialite, because the women in pink glass houses are all social. And it got picked up by every marketing person along the way and like lives in my bio for everywhere, no matter where I go. But I do think it's accurate because I like to be a part of the community and I like to be a part of what's going on. But at the same time, I'm tired and like want to read books in bed and write in bed. So, there's like a little bit of a push pull
Yeah,
there.
it's cute. It's cute. I like it. I like that title for you. Well, I really enjoyed talking to you, and everyone go out and get the Namaste Club.
This was great. Thank you so much for having
You're
me.
welcome. We'll see you next time.